What's going on, everybody? It is Luke here, and I'm bringing you a really awesome video all about my Q4 profits with all Amazon income. So as you can see, I am in Malta at the moment. I got here yesterday after having a really fun Saturday speaking at an event that Al Carson put on. It was really cool. Met loads of new people. Had an hour slot about scaling and that sort of thing, how I focus and what I focus on. But in today's video, of course, we're going to go into my actual Q4 profits, the exact numbers, the exact expenses, the exact left, right, and center. And of course, a lot of people will show their sales, which is great because everyone does and I do. But of course, sales is irrelevant if you're not making money. You can make £1 million in sales and lose money. You can do millions like Twitter. Revenue is hundreds of millions and they have never made money, as far as I believe, something like that. So I'm going to be breaking down all of my incomes. As you can see here, I've got affiliate income, prep service, coaching, anything that's related to Amazon, maybe some cash back, and of course my Amazon income, which is obviously a big chunk of it over Q4. Then showing you my net income. The expenses, obviously, you have to go against all that because you've got to, there's sort of a cost to having the Amazon business. And then I'm going to give you the gross profit for October, November, and December. And show you my actual realized profit, as in cash in the bank, as of Q4, as of sort of after Q4, I guess you could call it, showing you what I've actually realized, meaning it's real money, cash in the bank. That's basically what I meant. So that's great. I've actually hidden all of the incomes. So if you want to actually see them, you've got to stay tuned for the rest of the video. I know sometimes my videos are boring, but I guess this might be a way for people to hang on a bit longer. I try to be fast. So we're going to start off with really briefly going into some of the expenses and how I figure out how do I work out my profits? What do I take against it? What do I do? Where could I cut down maybe my expenses? Because a big part of my business is making sure you just don't rinse through your profits because you subscribe to like £2,000 worth of services, and then you realise you've just spent £6,000 in 3 months and you didn't need to. So let's get started. So October, of course, beginning of Q4, probably not going to really realise a massive amount of Amazon income because obviously you're preparing in Q4 for like November, definitely the December period. But let's just go through some of these fixed and variable expenses. Obviously, fixed expense, consistent, always going to be needed, can't really deviate from the plan. Variable expenses is ad hoc, as in when you need it, you can up it and down it and scale it and retrace it depending on what your needs are. And obviously over Q4, the costs go up usually because you are doing stuff like getting more boxes or using more stationery or subscribing to more services. So let's just get kickstarted into this. So you can see fixed expenses. These are things I actually pay out. Stuff like SELLERBOARD, QuickBooks, Profit Protector Pro, Keeper, like groceries, sort of grocery delivery, monthly delivery costs, fast host, which is my like email and that sort of thing, accountancy fees, and my mobile phone bill. Pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Variable expenses, these two are all related to the cost of buying supplies, bubble wrap, boxes, like labels. Pretty straightforward, but obviously it's definitely in October and November, December, those costs go up because you're sending for a lot more stock, a lot more prep has occurred. On unarbitraged deals, I don't normally have it in the year because I run off my a lean business model of really low expenses, so you maximize profits as early on in the month as you can, and that way that's just my method, that's my philosophy. So but over Q4 you want to have some your toes dipped in a couple of other pots. That's definitely not the right saying, but we'll just leave it as that. And you can see here on unarbitraged deals, that is just the sort of basic subscription just to make sure that I'm, if I need to find more leads, I am able to jump on straight away. But I don't, I don't want to rely on it. It's just there as an extra because the Q4 period is so vital and important, and also quite a short period. You want to have these little implementations in place in case you need to use them to maximize your business on a real fast basis. Accountancy fees. I've been getting the accountant to do a lot of work recently with my business, so I had to pay about £600 and something extra, which is split over the 3 months, October, November, December. Most of these expenses will be similar every month, so every sort of month of the quarter, so I'm not going to ramble on. stuff like that. And it'll charge my credit card. Yeah, it's a cashback credit card, and they charge you an annual charge. And because I was a little bit greedy over October, I didn't really want to pay off my credit card in full because, you know, I wanted to get it in stock. I had a charge. Very rarely I have a charge, but it does happen. Definitely over like a Q4 period when I don't want to be saving a lot like, you know, £5 in the bank to pay off the credit card in full, because I want to realise that £5 into some profits faster than I can already, let alone holding that for the direct debit to be taken in 3 days. Then it takes 2 or 3 days for the back payments to clear on the credit card, and so on. Stuff like complete savings subscription, delivery deal subscription, pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, my business bank account had a renewal fee every year, £45. All adds up, I guess, but you know, that happened. HSBC bank charges were massive in this month. Normally they're about 15 quid, but you know, as I said, I'm stretching myself over definitely October. And I had like charity donations, so I just donate £50 every month to charity, which is a variable because I don't have to do it, and it's not always consistent. Well, it is consistent, but I don't have to do it. It's my choice. If I really needed to stop that, I could. Just like, you know, a lot of these bank charges and renewals, they're just going to be as and when. So enough of that crap. We're going to get into the actual income cycle. I'm sure that's what a lot of people are trying to see. Now, you know, like I like to. The reason I'm doing this is a lot of people selling on Amazon think, you know what? Oh my god, in a year's time, I'm going to be making £6 a month, easy, from a laptop in another country. And yeah, and there must be people doing that, but you can't just invest £2 and expect to be making £6 a month consistently. Yeah, over a year, if you extrapolate that and break down the averages, you may find that the average does equate to maybe that, but because obviously Q4 is a massive part of it, but it's not on a sort of consistent basis. It's not every month. So, you know, if you were like only making £1 1 month, would that even be enough for you to survive? Yeah, you'll be making a decent amount next Q4, but what about the months in between or before that? So you've got to really, you know, as an average, yeah, it's great. But obviously most of it comes on Q4, and there's many people that just focus on Q4. So let's get into some of this affiliate commission and prep service and coaching, just so we can see exactly what's going on for October. And the great part about this is that my VAT return is due in January, which is almost a great time because I can maximize that cash flow. The cash flow is going to be really, really positive, like basically net positive until January. But that's the perfect time because you sort of stop selling on Amazon maybe the 24th of December, and you're able to get that cash back out over the next 2 weeks. And I've been able to maximize the amount that I'm able to get in the bank over the Q4 period because I haven't had to have a massive like chunk come out of my business, like £5 or £6, which, you know, in Q4 you can have in VAT bills. And I've been able to basically reinvest that on the short term to then offset the net difference of my VAT in January. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but don't really have to worry about too much about that anyway. So let's move on. So let's see what this is. So let's just let's do all of these. Let's see. Boom. Okay. So in affiliate commission, I made £480. You know, pretty straightforward. Nothing life changing, but actually, you know what, solid. You know, it's a nice extra to have. I haven't actually put any. Maybe I didn't make any cash back this month. You know, I did a live demonstration, a live talk on Saturday, and I talked massively about cashback and coupon codes. Over 2019, I believe I made about £5,500 to £6,000 in actual realised cashback, meaning money in the bank, not like you know, like an Amazon voucher or something that you might be able to get from like Honey, for example. So I use Honey as an example of not cashback because it's not money. And I also saved about in December was it? In Q4, I saved about 5,000 in coupon codes, meaning a lot of people don't maximize the use of coupon codes, and because I spent obviously a lot in purchases in Q4, I'm going to save myself 5,500, where a lot of people may have not even bothered with that, and they're actually losing £5,500 overall, aren't they? That's just a little side thing to add. But you can see here, this is my income, not including Amazon, not including the sales from Amazon, okay, which is 1,611.85. And the reason I'm showing everyone these numbers as well is because it's not always, you know, well, one, it's good for anyone that's looking to do this to know roughly how it works and what numbers, you know, stuff like coaching. These are just things that I do lightly on the side. No massive focus. I am more pushing the affiliate commission side of the business, as in I'm not like pushing the offers and sales and all that sort of thing, because I don't, apart from doing review videos and mentioning it now and then, I don't really push them. I just but I like to build that up, meaning, you know, over the years, try to make some sort of passive income, maybe up to about 1,000. So if I get this up to about £1,000 a month, that would be really nice, because that, you know, that's like a nice safety blanket for like all the. I mean, I've done hundreds of hours of content, and that isn't every month. That's just, you know, it does mix and match, chop and change depending on how many people subscribe for what service. I had some prep service income because I have a small number of clients which I use for that. Obviously, coaching and some cashback. But the real, you know, everyone wants to know the real numbers. I mean, I only made 3,206. And when I say only, because October, for some people that'd be amazing. But for me, it's not about this number. It's not about October. It's about the bigger picture. I always go on about the bigger picture. It's not about any one month. Anyone can post massive and amazing sales of 1 month and be making amazing money. But then come January, they might lose £2,000, or they might make £100. And actually, if you look at it as a yearly total, it's not that impressive. It's just that it's just a massively skewed data that people are showing. So I really want to as well show this is what I'm doing, and, you know, and my total sales for Q4. No idea what happened then. It seemed to just stop my recording, but back on it. My Q4 sales in total for the October, November, and December were 136k, £136,000 in Q4. So October, November, December. Obviously, the majority of it was in December. I did £86,000 in sales, so you get a little bit of an idea where the weight of my income will come from over this period. Then we come down. Obviously, a lot of people get confused with their numbers. This is massive. That is not my actual profit. This is not profit. This is net income, net Amazon income, actually. And then this has been net total income, meaning these two combined without taking out any costs that are associated with running a business. And you know, if you have staff members, imagine having to be like physical staff in a warehouse. All of that, the warehouse, the staff would have to come out of this before you actually make money, before you realize any profits. So we're going to go ahead and just show you this. It would be that, but then you obviously take off my £1,005. And this month, my expenses, in terms of that would do. Expenses was high because I had all these ad hoc payments, and luckily that's in November and December, I believe. I think, but then after that, it's gone because it was only like because I'd gotten into extra work. But you can see here, after everything, that is what happens. Now, I'm just going to add to this. This includes no VAT. Now, everyone will be like, well, yeah, what about your VAT, Luke? You're clearly over the threshold, but you know, I am. And the great thing about this, that not everyone will agree with, is that I don't calculate my VAT until the last month in that quarter. The reason behind this is because if you do, let's say I did 10 grand in sales, and you calculate the VAT at £2,000, I may not need to pay that £2,000 relating to that month in the next, because it's not about just the sales part. It's about what you're reclaiming on your expenses. So the money from here, anything that has VAT, I'll reclaim to go against that. And if in that month, this is the example I give. I had an Amazon loan of £16,500. Now, I will buy products with that money, and whatever the VAT on those items is, I can claim back. Yeah. But let's say my quarter end for the VAT is November. So that's December. So December is now month 1. Well, if I'm spending £16,500 but not actually looking to sell it into December, when I do my VAT return for September, October, November, I can claim back that the VAT in that £16,500, but I'm not paying the VAT on when those items sell, which won't be till December. I don't have to pay that till April. So just to summarize that, The VAT that I've just paid for September, October, November is minus £600. So they owe me £600, and that's because my purchases with the loan, and I got a friend to also like put in a little amount. All of that totaled in terms of money that I'm claiming back is offsets anything in these months, because most of my sales will come in December. So yes, for December I'm definitely going to be paying some VAT, but that isn't due till April. So the profits I'm making in these months are realised, even though I haven't taken out the VAT. Now you can comment below if you think I'm talking shit or something, but I've already calculated all the numbers, submitted the return. It's fine, because these are the ways that you can work around it. And yes, at some point I'm not going to be able to keep getting like I can't keep buying 50 grand and offsetting the overall VAT to make it a net negative on my behalf, on my books. But you are able to, in the short term, move things around. So actually, people would be like, "Oh yeah, but what about your VAT? You got to take off like if you did that you take it off like 15 grand of VAT, well in December of course." But you can move it around. It's not just clear cut. It's very to me. It's really simple. You just look at that, da 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 da, done. Just be smart with it. Like on the last day of November, if I had 100 grand and I bought 100, so I got a loan, put 100 grand in stock, I'm claiming back £20,000 on that. But I'm not selling it until December, because obviously then the next day is December. So those items won't be selling till December, and then I won't pay it till April. So I'm reclaiming on that month end, or that quarter end, 20 grand against all the sales. They're probably only 6,000 or 7,000 VAT. They're owing me that back because the period that it falls in is not the same period that it sells in. So I can claim it back in the month of November, but I'm not selling it yet. And so you're able to skew the data on the short term. And of course, when I actually sell that 100 grand, I'm going to have if it sold as 200,000, I would then be paying 40 grand on it. But that isn't yet, and that isn't realised yet, because I could, in theory, do the same thing again in the last month of the next quarter and the next quarter, and so on and so on. Kind of get what I mean? It is very, very complicated. But luckily, I've studied finance for God knows how many years. The most depressing and boring subject in the world. Never try it. Well, you can try it. I guess that's probably why I can see it how I can see it. But demoralising is understatement on that. Let's just get moving, because it's getting boring now. Next, November. Very, very similar in terms of all of my fees. I'm not going to go over anything else. You can see exactly. Any questions, let me know. But you can see, it's already going down. Yeah, I've still got a good big accounting, but that's fine. I knew I'm making decent profits, so I can sort of, I've sort of taken that into consideration. Now let's jump onto my actual income, because that's what everyone cares about. So as you can see here, my affiliate commission went down. Now that sometimes is because when they pay you, it can move around. You can get paid at the last day of the month, or sometimes you can get paid a couple of days in the next month. So where it looks like I've made 136, I probably actually haven't. I probably made something similar to what I'd made last month, but it's not. They maybe not pay me till the 1st of December because of the weekend or something. But it still relates to November, but I just don't get paid till December. So that's not actually realised, Like you can see it's related. It's like sales. Just because you made a pending sale in December, it doesn't mean it's an actual sale in December. It just means it's showing on like a cash flow basis. Not even a cash flow basis. It's showing on you can't use a pending sale, for example. Even though it looks like you've had it on the 31st of December, is that even, yeah, it doesn't actually clear until the 3rd of January. So it's not actually, it's a January sale. It counts as a January sale, even though it looks like it's a December sale, yeah. But a lot of people will go like, oh, look at my Decembers. Well, actually, a big chunk of that will be January, because it's not, and a big chunk of that will actually be back to what you thought was November, because November's would have cleared in December, and it'd be, whatever. I'm not going to go into that. This is getting too technical for anyone's liking. And the total income, not including Amazon income, as I said, was 2,341p. Like I said, that's actually a really nice prep. Just literally mainly one client. That was he was in Japan, and he just needed to do it. But that sort of side of things I don't. It's just there as a little bit of a side hustle. I get not side hustle. It's a bit of a crap term. It sounds like you're just like doing something to make a little bit like quick cash, but no. But the actual Amazon income in November was £5,775. And of course, this is actually like net profit. So you're like, as in that's after fees and all of that malarkey. We're not mucking around. Like, this is actually like clean. Like, that's not the money I even get back into my bank. I would get like 10 grand, because obviously the cost of the good has to be taken out to find your realized net profit on Amazon. Yeah, because you've obviously invested £5, you get that back. That's not profit. That's just the £5 you put in originally. So you want all the extra money that you got on top of that £5, which is that. And then we just unhide these little fellas. So the total, you can see, is those two together minus the expenses. I made a total gross profit in November of $7,355.13. Just making sure it's recording, and it is. Awesome. And I definitely want to hear your comments on this, because I know that there's a lot of people that sometimes don't understand everything I say, because I can even confuse myself. You might want some clarification on certain aspects of what I say, because sometimes I'm sure I say things and it might sound like I'm saying something else, because I'm saying lots of technical bits, and it is possible I'm even like tripping over my own words and actually saying something wrong. So if you see anything that you think's wrong, or that I haven't explained very well, or whatever, just let me know, and I'll try to clarify it and explain either what I meant at the time or whatever. So yeah, 7,355. Well, now we're actually, because you can see October is going to be the real, like September and October are like the sort of push, go all in. You won't start realizing you're actually realizing those inputs, or that sort of like working hard mentality into November and definitely December. Because in December is obviously the main bulk of everything. So as you can see here on my expenses, very similar as before. Obviously you can see my bank fees have gone down. I don't have half the other little interesty bits, and you can see £909, because these that's the sort of main, that's like boxes and prep stuff that always goes up, because it's just that's the big chunk. Definitely the accountancy fees. I mean, that, what's that? Can't see. £324 plus that is over half of everything. And then we want to have a look here. So I got had a little bit of eBay sales, just a couple of bits that I happened to sell. Let's go ahead and see what we made here. So you can see here. So my prep's gone down, no problem, because people probably stopped sending in to set, for Q4 for December, quite early in the month in December. Actually, I lie, that has to go up, but we'll leave it as that for now. That's fine. It's not going to change the numbers massively. I only just invoiced the client today, and he paid me today. Was it the 6th? So yeah, I actually didn't include that, but who cares? We'll leave that. It's only like 140 quid or something. So we'll leave that out. Okay. So here we are. It's a nice little bit of cash back. Now, I've just received yesterday, day before, like £600 from Top Cashback, and I talk about cashback a lot. I talked about it massively in the hours talk. Sort of whatever that thing was I did on Saturday. You can really make it. You can even if you broke even through the year, you can just make cashback. You can make 5-6 grand, and actually overall, isn't that like still decent? So credit card cashback, £71, put through a lot. But now everyone wants to see the cream of the crop. Yeah. So I've put here VAT December projected, and that's just by looking at the sales that I've done in December, which is the 86 grand. So obviously I take that VAT into consideration, which is about 14,000 something. And then I looked at my purchases. So everything I purchased to obviously stock, I have looked at. I think it's like 60 grand I spent in December. And obviously I can claim all that VAT back. I think that's like half of 14. It's like something like 6 or 7. Anyway, at the moment, then I've got a don't quote me on that. Hang on, 60 grand. What is that? Oh god, I forgot. I did the calculations earlier. Didn't recall them. I just didn't have a calculator. Anyway, but obviously I still got January and February to include in this as the bigger picture, because like I said before, with last quarter, my VAT return, it was a £600 owed to me. And yeah, these things will catch up, but like the thing I like with VAT is that you can, if I on the last day of that, and I invest a lot of money, I can offset the overall, and yeah, like then I'll sell that massive input, that extra money I've obviously claimed back at some point. That bulk of that cash will sell, and I'll have to pay even more VAT because it's going to be selling at a higher price than what I'm claiming. But what you can do is you can sort of, if you've, definitely in Q4, you're going to have a big chunk of that's attributed to VAT. And what you want to do is you want to try to stretch that VAT sum over the year a little bit better so that your cash flow is actually not just like absolutely like that too much on the short term. Because you don't want that to happen. What you want to do is you want to try to spread the cost of your overall VAT over the year so that you are able so you don't have a massive like hemorrhage of like $5 grand, $8 grand, just getting chucked on VAT, which then means that it's a massive detrimental effect to the initial cash flow after like the day after you've obviously got that much less. So let's go ahead and actually get to the grand finale. So I made £18,703 from Amazon in December. So I did 136 grand Q4, 86 of that was in December, which you can clearly see was a big chunk of it. And that's why I wasn't worried about having higher expenses. Well, the expenses are less than October here, but it's because all of that cost, all those expenses is attributing to my December cost, overall realized profits. And again, it's not about 1 month, it's about the bigger picture. So let's go ahead and reveal the rest of the information. So that is my total net income is all of that. So I made 20,532. Obviously, it's all of this plus the Amazon minus the expenses. So total gross profit for December is that. That means cash in the bank with the other 2 months with cash in the bank, because the way that I go about Amazon is at the end of December, maybe 20th, I stop completely. I try to clean out all of my stock. Now, if I can't, I'll sell it at some point, because of my basis is mostly replenishables. It's items that I've sold consistently most of the year. And obviously toys and games and stuff does become more prevalent in Q4, which is fine, but it still sells the rest of the year. And I know at some point, even if it takes 6 months, I'll sell the items. So I still think I've got a decent, $5 grand of stock or something, $4 grand of stock. That is something I'll have to double check on. But I can't do anything about it right now. It's just, I've got like 84 forkies. I mean, what am I going to do with those? Have a massive forky party. That sounds, it sounds a bit like sausage party, doesn't it? Right, let's carry on. And what do I work it out as? 4 grand? Yeah. So my VAT potentially for this month, or in theory you could go like this, that minus that equals that minus that. So you could say it's 14,703 because obviously VAT is in that sum. But again, I like to leverage the VAT, and I'm not going to go into it any more than that because it's not financial advice. I won't put it in the bank. Most people do this anyway. They won't put that VAT in the bank and wait. They'll use it to try to offset that liability over the next 3 months, because December's month 1 of 3 before I then have to pay my VAT. And you pay your VAT a month and 7 days after. So actually, I'm not paying my December's VAT until April the 7th is the last day. So I can try to use that sum that would be in my bank at the moment to obviously offset the liability of the 4,000, because if you can make money on that through arbitrage or whatever you want to do, then I won't actually. I make 500. I mean, I did a massive video on this one time. If you can make 500 quid over that, then overall the net difference that you're actually paying to HMRC is obviously £3,500. Oh, I know I talk fast, but it has to be, otherwise it's going to be like about a 3-hour long video, and then I'll have 3 views, and then But again, if you want a clarification on any of the stuff I've said, you can. I did a massive video on the whole VAT thing previously. It's somewhere on my channel, no idea where. But then you want to know what my Q4 total is. So let's have a look. So here we go. This is what I made over Q4. Amazon and Amazon associated income, meaning it was from cashback, prep, or affiliate. I do stuff like technical analysis and trading, but it's quite tame on the side. So I don't really include any of those incomes because I'm still I'm only about a year and a half into my education. Until you're about 3 to 5 years into that, I'm not going to start realizing, unless I become amazing, I'm not going to start adding any of that into my overall income sheet or whatever the hell this is. But you can see, so over the year I would have done like 200 and something thousand on Amazon. And over well, let's just use Q4 because I can actually see them. So I did about, what was it, 136k. And you can see here, so we did 136. Is it something like this? That equal, hang on. What's the net overall? You can't really do a net margin on that because it's obviously not Amazon related. But no, I guess you could. You could do it like a. Who knows? That equals that divided by that. Something like that. Is it like that? Times 100. Yeah, 22.64% net margin. Not, but it's related to other things that isn't to do with Amazon, so it doesn't work. It would be less, I guess. It'd be like, I guess it'd be like 18, wouldn't it? Or like maybe a bit more, maybe like 20% net margin, something like that. But you can see here anyway. This is me showing a clear indicator for anyone that is either starting Amazon, not sure what you can do, and actually wants someone to show it, because no one ever shows it. Maybe there's a reason and I'm going to get absolutely annihilated by, like, I don't know, something that happened. But no one really ever shows a full breakdown. They might show one thing, like just an affiliate site. How much I earned this month in affiliate commission? I'm like, great, well, that's skewed data. It's not showing real art. It's not showing anything. It just shows you one thing in the massive web of like everything. Like, you don't just make affiliate commission by creating a website and then you've got £437.72. Obviously, everything that each of these is complementing each other to give me that affiliate commission. So in theory, that isn't actually just generated through general like websites. It's bigger than that. Like the sort of scale and everything attributed to that sum is bigger than just one amount. Anyway, don't get me started. This is just to help anyone interested to know. And also, it actually, like, there's so many people that make up these random numbers. I may have done that. £2,000. And it's great. You can make £2,000 on a short-term basis. I just clicked some random dictionary thing. Go away, Oxford. It's so many people can be like, I make £2,000 from 500. Well, great. I've just made £30,791.69 in 3 months. That's better than making 2,000 from 500. Because it's not as sexy. Well, I mean, to me, it's fucking sexy, but sorry about my language. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's not about any one day, one thing. It's about the whole picture pulled together to give you a more average and consistent look at things from the outside looking in, not the other way around, where you're showing one thing and making it look like that's, and you're not showing everything else. I don't know, I've gone, luckily it's only a 30-minute video, it's amazing. Normally they're like an hour and a half, I get 3 views, but hopefully 10, I can get 10 views. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there, and there was so much information I've just packed into this video, but for anyone that is interested in starting Amazon, you can make some decent money. But then I would always say to add layers, business layers on top. Amazon online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, maybe even some wholesale. It's all like level, I call it like a level 1 business tier. It is very, very easy to get in. Yes, you need some startup capital, but you can initially learn the whole picture, that you can learn the skills online for free. 100 hours, easy. Like, you probably binge watched 100 hours on Netflix over the last 6 months. You want to make 30 grand next year? Binge 100 hours of crap about YouTube. Not about YouTube, about Amazon FBA. There we go. It's not, obviously that isn't true, and that's just not a financial, whatever that thing that everyone says. This is not financial advice, but this is just showing you and being transparent what people make and what numbers actually need to be created to make those sort of profits. And it doesn't have to. It's not applicable to everyone. There must be some people that are doing the opposite of what I'm doing for Amazon and making the same, making more, I don't know. But this is just showing you a clear and true reflection of me and what I'm doing and my journey, and a breath of fresh air. Anyway, have a great day. I'm going to enjoy Malta, and I'll see you on the next one.